AI in Action is brought to you by Alldus International, covering your business's staffing, consulting, and networking needs. Our host brings you the leading minds in AI, sharing their story, their success, and their advice. Focusing on fast-tracking you to the top, AI in Action cuts through the hype to help you kickstart your data science career. To listen to the latest AI in Action podcast, head over to www.alldus.com/podcast or subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Podcasts.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Robert Parviainen. Robert is the Senior VP of Data Science at Seriously Digital Entertainment. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
It's our pleasure, Robert. So let's start with yourself. Can you give us a brief background, where you first got started in technology, talk us through your journey, highlight some of the roles you've held along the way, and taking us up to your most recent position where you've been with Seriously?
Sure. So I'm originally from Sweden. I have a PhD in mathematical statistics, and I was planning to be an academic and go all the way to professor. So I did 2 postdocs, one in Australia and one in Iceland. After the second one, I started to get a bit tired of the academic world and got my first real job in industry in Chicago. That was at a gaming company. I mostly did math for slot games. I really wanted to get into data science, and I got to do some projects, but not really enough. So then I got a job as a statistician at Nokia on their maps department. It was great fun, but some friends had made previously started their own small gaming company. They asked me to join to be in charge of everything data and analytics related. I was with them for a year or two, and then I got recruited to a bigger gaming company, a mobile gaming company in LA. Took over the data analytics team there, and eventually also the whole the business team. I was leading half the studio for about a year. And then a friend of mine was working at Seriously. They had 0 data scientists and 0 data team. They really needed someone to start building that up. So I joined them in 2016, end of 2016, and it's been a great journey since then, really grown my team. Yeah.
Well, before we go any further into the building that you've done over the past 4 or so years, let's take a step back. Tell us who Seriously Digital Entertainment are, what's the origins behind the business, and what are you guys doing in the digital entertainment space?
Yeah, so the company was founded about 2013 by some people that had left Rovio, that did the Angry Birds game. They want to do their own thing. So we focus on mobile games with a strong story element. We really want to try to branch out a bit beyond just gaming. So we do a lot of content on YouTube. We do short animations and so on. So the company is headquartered in Helsinki, Finland, and then we have a marketing department and some other people in LA. And we have a couple of mobile games out. They're puzzle games. They got decent audience. We got about 1.5 million daily active users. And in summer of 2019, we were acquired by a really big gaming company called Playtika, the headquarters in Israel. We still operate mostly independent. It's been a great partnership. We learned a lot from each other, and we hope to continue to grow our games and make our games get just higher and higher on the top lists for both.
And it's important to note that the games are already incredibly successful before the merger with the larger company. So talk to us then about your role. Look, very interesting challenge to come in and be the sole individual in data. No data scientists, no data engineers, with a pretty large objective of building a scalable team. So look, you've obviously been through various challenges with that. So could you give us a quick highlight of what the last 4 years have been like, what the journey has been, what were some of the challenges you faced, and how you were able to overcome those challenges?
Yeah, so it's definitely been many challenges since we didn't have a data team. So we had to, both on the technical side, to change the infrastructure, but also on the software side with getting the company to invest in data and to use the data and be more data-driven. There was a huge interest in the company to be more data-driven, so that part turned out to be pretty easy, but still ongoing. We always had to continue to teach people about statistics and data and how to use it. The technical challenges took some time. The first thing I did was make sure that we own our data. We have our own data warehouse that is able to scale, and then gradually add components to our infrastructure with BI tools, machine learning tools as needed. And one challenge was that we operated as a startup, and we want to be very lean and only hire people when we wanted to, and only buy software when it was needed. So I ended up having to set up a lot of the infrastructure, which worked okay. Luckily now I have a couple of data engineers that are taking over and have improved on what I set up. But the challenge is really finding the balance between now we need to hire someone, now we need to pay for this tool versus should we build this in-house, can I do it? And it's always been a tricky balance between spending money versus doing things in-house. And then a big challenge for me was building a team that's in 2 different continents with 10 hours time difference. Personally, that was probably the biggest challenge. And I worked with like that for about 3 years before I hired a director of data science in Helsinki that has been a huge help for me and now manages the part of my team that is based in Helsinki.
Yeah, a lot of what you're talking about will be familiar to many of our listeners who've been on that journey of startup and build teams from the ground up. But some of what you touched on is probably less common in building teams on both continents. Yeah. As you look back now, always hindsight is great for you. But what were the biggest learns that you had? And if you were to do it differently, what would be the things that you might approach in a different way?
That's a great question. I would have looked for hiring someone more senior in Helsinki sooner to help the team there more day to day, because it was very hard with the time difference to help out with mentoring and answering questions. Also, yes, the day-to-day management of office things that I just couldn't do from overseas.
Let me jump in there because before you talk about the learns and things that you will have done differently on the technical side, I think it's a good opportunity to give us some insight into what goes on behind the scenes in a gaming company. You know, what data science projects and activities are driving the product. So can you help us visualize what it's like inside your data science team? What's the makeup of engineers, scientists? What are the projects that you're excited about, and what are the unique challenges that you face with gaming?
Yeah. So we have 3 main tasks. One is just KPI reporting, creating dashboards and KPI reports for the executives or anyone in the company that when I look at it. And then the 2 big parts are the game analytics and the marketing analytics. So in LA, we focus mostly on the marketing side, and that is figuring out the return on investment on any marketing campaign we do, which we do on Facebook, Google, but we also do lots of TV advertisements. We do podcasts and radio, and some of them are very tricky to analyze. So that takes up a lot of our time in LA. In Helsinki, it's all about improving the game, making sure the game is good and fun, and that the special events we do in the game, figure out if those work or not, and constantly trying to use data to improve the game and to drive the decisions. Because our game designers are excellent and they have great intuition, but sometimes they can't be right all the time. So we need the data to support that and to validate what they're thinking. And sometimes we just don't know how the players are going to react. So it's really important to have data to make sure that the players enjoy the game. And our goal is always to make a fun game that the players love and to build a long-term audience. And then revenue and profit comes after that. And for us, that has really worked out great.
Excellent. So, Robert, look, in digital and data terms, 4 years is a long time. And, you know, people only need to think of the cell phones that they were holding 4 years ago and compare them to now to see how much has changed and the advancements. In your industry, where you're trying to stay current and capitalize on these changes in technology advancements, can you talk to us about how quick things do change and how you, as an online gaming company, you have to stay agile with the data science team and you know the unique nature of that?
Yeah, and I think a big driver has been just the first for content from players. Players are used to games being constantly updated and adding new features. So that's a big thing. And for us, that means we had to create new levels. So we have built tools to automatically analyze the levels that goes out, make sure they're easy enough or hard enough, just to make the life as easy as possible for our designers. And mostly it's to make sure that the levels are fun and they're not frustrating for the players. And another big thing that's really grown in the past 4 years is games are more and more dynamic and have a tailored experience to the players. Because it has such a wide variety of players. Some are very skilled at a game and can beat any level quickly, and some players may not be as good. So we make sure that everyone has a great time. And that's the same for most mobile games today, is that they try to be more dynamic and make sure everyone has fun. So that means reacting to the data as quickly as possible. When we see some players having a problem, then we can try to adjust for it and make sure that they also have a great time. That's really the big two things now, is creating content faster and what we can do as data team to help with that. I know some companies have done some really interesting stuff in creating levels automatically using machine learning models, generative models. We're not quite there yet, but that's really exciting and fun. And then it is to make the game more dynamic and react faster to what's happening in the game.
Yeah, it's a very exciting space because it really is the merger of gaming and entertainment, but also being built on a foundation of data science, which drives the interaction from the gamers, which ultimately creates business success. Before we talk about the future growth of the company, I want to just spend a bit of time talking on the unique nature of the work that your team does now, and then leading into what it will do in the future. When you look at the design of the games, at what point does the data team become involved in contributing to the structure, the game design and interaction? You know, is that something that a team of data scientists would have any voice at the creation table? Can you just walk us through that process? Because I'm sure there's people wondering, hey, if I'm a data science, will I be helping design games?
Yeah, you absolutely can be. We are part of the whole process. Sometimes it's just by creating dashboard and tools for the product team to see how past events and have worked, and just making sure that they have the data to look at it. Sometimes they ask us for advice, like, hey, what do you think? How did this perform? And we have to do a deeper analysis. And we are a very open company and very encourage communication. So everyone has a great opportunity to influence the design just by being part of the team and being part of meetings and design meetings. So I really do feel that my team has a really huge impact on the game, not only directly but also implicitly through the products we make to help the game designers and the teammates decide what they're going to work on.
So Robert, talk us through how you've been able to maintain such a high retention rate while sustaining consistent growth. And then looking ahead, what does 2021 look like? How much more growth is on the cards across the data team, and what is it that you'll be looking for when you're hiring more people?
Yeah, I think it starts with hiring. We are quite selective about who we hire. We look for people that fit in both in the company culture and the team culture. And the company takes very good care of the employees. So part of the great retention for my team is due to the whole company and working at a great company. But I think data science is very special, and there's some things that make us choose data science, and it is we love learning new stuff, love figuring out how things work. So one very important thing that I always focus on is give opportunity, both time and resources for the team to continue learning more. That's both taking courses on Coursera. Everyone in the team has full access to Coursera and can take any course they want. But also making sure that everyone gets to be part of new and fun projects every now and then, and projects that challenges them and gets to learn more. And then it's just simple things, just listening to people, talk to them. I try to talk to everyone as often as I can. Of course, it's hard with people in Helsinki, but the people in LA definitely love spending time with them and just talking about work and finding out what we can do better for them. But yeah, I think it really starts with hiring and finding people that are excited to learn more, excited about gaming, and people that are humble and just really excited to learn more and not afraid to say, I don't know, but I would love to learn. And then just try to build a culture that encourages that we all have to do boring work, but we have to make time for exciting projects that challenges us and excites us.
So looking then into future growth, if people listening have an interest in gaming and they're looking for exciting organizations who are utilizing data science, you guys are certainly that. You tick all those boxes. What opportunities are going to be coming up as you continue to grow? What are the types of positions that are needed to support the data science team?
So we're actually right now in the process of planning for next year. We will have a couple of open positions. We definitely have a need for more people, especially in Helsinki on the game analytics side. We're trying to ramp up the whole team, the games team, not only data science, but engineering team and art team and everything. So we will have a couple of open positions in Helsinki, both entry level, but also some more senior positions. In LA, hopefully we'll open position fairly soon in LA to help more on the marketing side, build out the infrastructure to help with analyzing marketing campaigns. And then we're also looking into getting one more data engineer on the team. We haven't decided yet the location for that, but that's our current thinking for the next 3 to 6 months. But things tend to change very quickly, and we're still operating like a startup, so we try to be flexible. And yesterday we were talking about a new project here in LA that if we kick that off, then we would need at least 1 or 2 more people to help build a new product here in LA.
Well, Robert, I think you guys are a great example of how a business can grow remotely, different locations, despite challenging technology environments and staying abreast of the changes that happen in such a rapid industry. Exciting times ahead for you guys for sure. Incredible retention, and I'm really appreciate you coming on talking to us today, telling us about the journey with Seriously and what's in store for the future. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
AI in Action is brought to you by Alldus International, covering your business's staffing, consulting, and networking needs. Alldus offer an exec search program. Alldus can help you discover how data science and AI can transform your company. With our unrivaled network of C-suite executives and senior AI professionals, we offer retained search services across the US and Europe. Get the Alldus advantage. Become a member of the Alldus community and enjoy some of the following: AI meetups. Once a month, our community gathers to listen to some of the leading experts in the world of data science and AI. Our speakers come from all over the world, including Dublin, Boston, and Frankfurt. We also have our AI mentors. Our experts will provide mentoring to Alldus members. And don't forget our AI in Action podcast. Each week we have guests from all over the world talking us through their education, career, and more. Become an Alldus member and get the Alldus advantage. For more information and to sign up for our newsletter, log on to www.alldus.com. That's www.alldus.com. Alldus International, empowering through AI.